Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your own unique design and then sublimate it onto a mouse pad. And here are a few examples of designs that you can make. You could also use photographs and maybe enhance them with some graphics, but today we're just going to focus on a graphic design version. So the supplies that you'll need are the mousepad blank, a graphics program, sublimation printer, heat press, clip art, and photos if you choose to use them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm using Photoshop CC to demonstrate this for you today. I've created a new document that is 8.5 by 11, 300 dpi with a white background. The mousepad blank that I have measures just a little bit shy of 8 inches, so I'm going to use 8 inches as the base for my design. So what I need to do is create a new layer, then go over to my drawing tools here and choose the ellipse tool. I want the fill color to be black, and I don't need a stroke on this one. I'll go to the center of my page, hold down my mouse key, and then just drag that circle out till I get the size that I want. Now I want to make sure that this is exactly 8 inches. So to do that, I'm going over to the properties box. I'll type in 8 and then a space and then IN, which would be inches. Hit my tab key and do that same thing. Hit return. And now I know that that circle is exactly 8 inches. Now I'm going to center it on my page, and I know that it's centered because of the pink crosshair right there. So there's the base for the pattern. Now I'd like to fill that with a gradient effect. So I'm going to double click to the right of the layer, and this brings up the effects panel. I'll click on gradient overlay, and then you can see there's lots of different gradients you can choose. These actually do come with Photoshop, but I like that light blue one right there. And there's different styles too. You can choose linear, there's angle, reflective, all different choices, but I'll choose radial for this project and hit OK. So there's the base part for the mousepad design. Now I'm going to choose Add Layer, go to File, Place Embedded, and then I'll be using a design from Design Bundles called Blossoms Collection. Click on that, and that will paste it on top of the base layer. Just click on the corner here and just make it a little bit smaller. And then again, I will use those grid lines to make sure that I'm completely centered. So that looks good. Now I'd like to add some special effects to this, so I'll click on it to select it, double click to the right of the layer. I'm going to add a drop shadow and a bevel and emboss, and click OK. Now the next thing I'd like to do is draw just like an outline, just a little bit smaller than my base of the design. So this time I don't need it to be filled all the way. So I'm going to select a new layer, go back over to the ellipse tool, and this time I'm going to say no to the fill color, but under the stroke I'm going to choose black and have it at 5 millimeters. Then I'll go back to the center of my design, hold down the shift key, click and drag that out with my mouse. All right, and that looks perfect. So I just need to center that on the page. And now I'm going to add an effect to this. So again, I'll go over to the layer, double click to the right, and I want pattern overlay. Now I've created a bunch of glitter effects, so I'll be using those today. You can see I've got lots of different colors here. And I'm going to choose this nice light gold. I think that matches nice with this design here. And I can change the scale of this if I like. I can make it a little bit chunkier or very small and fine. So I think I'll make it just about there. And while I have the effects box open, I'm going to add a bevel and emboss and a drop shadow. But I'm going to go into bevel and emboss and choose up instead of down. Actually, you know what? I like down better. We'll do down. Okay, and so that's done. Then I'm going to add another layer and go over to the fonts, and I'll be using one called Free Monogram, and I downloaded this from, I think, DeFont, but I'll put a link in the description box below. And now I'm going to type my monogram. So typically the first name will be in lowercase, the surname will be in uppercase, and the middle name will be in lowercase. But I'd like that middle one to be quite a bit bigger than the other two. So let me try 300 pixels on this one. Oh, that's too big. Let's try 200. That looks much better. All right, so I've got that in place. Now I'm just going to stretch it out until I get the size that I like. I think that looks good, maybe just a smidgen bigger. Great, so that looks really good. Now I'd like to fill that with the same glitter that I did on the outline here. So I'll go over to the layer, double click on the right, go to pattern overlay, and because the last pattern I used was the glitter, that's the first one that comes up. So I'm going to just leave that selected just like that, add a bevel and emboss and a drop shadow, and click OK. And you can see now I've got that design all completed. So all I need to do now is send this off to the printer. And I have the Epson Workforce 7720 that has been converted for sublimation printing. I'll go into print settings, and I've set up a bunch of profiles already. If you're interested in learning how to do that, I'll put a link up in the top right of the video. So I will pick the sublimation portrait, click OK, then print, and then I should get a preview from the Epson software here. And it shows that it has mirrored the image, which was part of the profile that I set up. So I'll just go ahead and hit print. So here's my printed design, and I've also got the mouse pad blank. Now it's very important that you go ahead and remove any lint or dust that is on the blank, because if you don't and you press it, those could show up as blue or green specks, and you definitely don't want that. Now when I designed this, I did make it slightly bigger than the mouse pad, but not by much. And I know it's difficult to see here on the camera, but I'm using that little bit extra on the print to line up the circle against it. So I'm just going to take a few moments here to make sure that it's aligned correctly, and then I will use my heat tape and just stick that down onto the paper. So my heat press has been heated up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just placing a sheet of paper on the bottom of the press. I'll place the design print side up, place another sheet of paper on top of it to protect from blowout, and then I will press this for a total of 60 seconds. And there it is, turned out fantastic. Looks really good. That glitter really showed up well. So you can see these are really easy to make. You could make a matching mug to go with that, and that would be a perfect gift. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And thank you for watching.